Okay. Boundary defense, you know, um, can we all type defense in depth, everybody? Can we type defense in depth if you don't mind? Just type defense in depth, everybody. Defense in depth. Defense in depth. So, in IT, cyber generally, we have layers of defense because you're thinking in your mind, maybe at the application, database, network layer, every layer you're thinking in your mind, can I have multiple layers of defense so that if one of them is compromised, I have a second level that would protect me, right? So network segmentation is one of the big ones out there because it separates your security zone so that it can limit the impact. Think about it like you're safe in your room, in your closet. Imagine a burglar comes to your home and there was no living room, there was no bedroom. They just see the safe, right? Enter your room, they see the safe. So it makes it easy. You know what? If somebody's going to rob you, give them some work. Let them work for their robbery, right? Give them some work to do. The same thing for network segmentation. We're saying break it into smaller segments so that if one area is compromised, we stand a chance because we have other ways in which we can respond in general. Traffic filtering, intrusion detection, using good security method in transportation, network monitoring. Every one of these are very critical in terms of your boundary defense. Okay. Some of you that want to do the security plus, we offer that also. You would treat this in details there to help you pass the exam. Which control addresses boundary defense? Which control address boundary defense? Excellent. Control 12. Now again, don't stress it if you don't remember the name of the number of the control. I don't know the number myself offhand, right? But I know the topic. You can talk about network segmentation, boundary defense, data protection, asset management, stuff like that. But I mean, why would I want to know is control 13 control? Yeah, it's good when you're working on the project, but don't go with the mindset of, oh, I need to know that. But I just have to find a way to still make sure you're not sleeping. So I put that as part of the quiz, right? The what control number, and but it's not a big deal. It's not expected for you to know the number mapping to each other, but you know the topic. That it's data protection. Know those topics. That's the main thing. Okay. Control 13 data protection. Again, we can agree one of the big issue out there today is data exfiltration. Can we all type data exfiltration if you don't mind? Data exfiltration. Exfiltration. So think about it. A lot of you, when you quit a job, you know, and I've seen this many times, somebody might call me and say, hey, coach, what's up? I want to find out your opinion. Would they find out in my company if I take data, blah, blah, blah? And I chuckle. Yes, easy, effortless. We use data loss prevention tool, DLP tool. At times they will overlook it because, yeah, no big deal. Your manager doesn't care. They just let it slip. Depends on the industry. Yes, yes, they will know. Don't ask that question. They will know. Don't take data now. Okay, here's the flip side. When you come to an organization and you bring data from your previous organization to your own new organization, nobody complains, right? I get it. When you're leaving and you're taking away, then somebody's going to scream. That's the way it works, right? So don't take it because the answer is yes, they can find out and you can't deny it. Somebody said, well, I just sent it to my personal email. Okay, same thing, they can find out. And most of the systems today will not allow you to use your external, memory card to pull data, unlike before. So they'll find out. Encryption is a big one out there. Access control, how do you gain access to it? Many people use classification. They use principle of least privilege. All that is saying is that if you don't need it, then we're not going to give you access. As simple as that, you know? Um, then also data retention. We want to make sure we have policies in place to highlight how we retain data. How long do you want us to retain it? The timeline, all of those should be spelled out also. All right, quick one. Let's see what you think. Which control focus on data protection? Which of them focuses on data protection? All right, let's see who's leading in our leaderboard right now. Oh my gosh. I said you all are giving me a heart attack with the changes. It's always like that. Okay, Manuel is back up. Yak is back. Yomi, food is surprise. Grasa, I will take my bet on Grasa anytime. Experience and I won't be surprised. Okay, let's go. 14. Control access based on need to know. All this is saying is that if you don't need the access, don't give the access. Simple. Don't give people access what they don't need. Role-based access, give me access based on role, classify the data. For all the access we've granted, do we have a process to review them and certify them? Then we monitor access. This is one of the biggest parts in terms of the biggest risk out there, access control. So it's a big one out there, but these are the key fundamentals around the controls there. Wireless access control. Now, we can agree on this. We have to figure a category for wireless because now we know that all of us today on our phone, we are wireless. The kids will tell you, hey, dad, can I have access to to your Wi-Fi, right? That's the, guess what? Everybody is savvy about this right now. 70-year-old, 80-year-old, 5 years old. There is no generational gap in Wi-Fi access. It's amazing. Everybody has access, everybody can use it now. It's insane, but it's common, it's mainstream, right? So it means because of that, it has its own unique focus, wireless access control. So we are talking about implementing continuous security process around it. How do we scan your network? How do we make sure we have strong authentication around it? Then how do we make sure you would not see this, but there's proper segmentation of the network that you are using? Your service providers will mostly have a way they are segmenting their network and all that. But many times you want to make sure also, many people will create a guest ID so that only guests can use certain part of their environment. So whatever your strategy is, but at the end of the day, there is consciousness and security around wireless access control also now. Account monitoring and control. So this is equally important because how many of us can imagine how many people you've granted access to your home network? If you have time, go back and check. You'll see multiple people still logged on to your home network now. Of course, they are not in that vicinity, but once they come around you, they can still log in because they've already logged in one time, right? And maybe you just wanted to give them access one time. You didn't intend for them to have access perpetually, right? Maybe somebody coming to do service in your house and they needed Wi-Fi, you granted them Wi-Fi, and you didn't remove the access. In the future, they can come in and use the same Wi-Fi, right? So those are things you can build process and system around provisioning of access to users, even in your home network, right? Right now. Okay, let's go to another one real quick. We're almost done with this, then we'll jump into the sweet part of this whole thing. You guys are gonna work on labs. That is the sweet part. It's gonna be awesome. All right, so don't worry. You guys have that's the fun part. Everything we're doing is cool, but the most big piece of it is we're gonna get that to that in a bit. Control 17 is talking about security awareness and training, right? I think we can all agree. Humans are the weakest link. That's why the training is exceptionally required. There's no shortcut to training your users. Up from the security to the CEO, receptionist, everybody must have a culture of security awareness. All it takes to compromise the biggest organization in the world is just one weak link, especially someone that is genuinely authorized to have the access. If they are not trained, they will compromise every millions of dollars you spend on security. So it's so important to invest in training of your users, the basic awareness training, role specific training, especially for your leadership. Now, you might not believe it. Most people, the biggest compromise always happen from your top leadership. I've seen a C-level executive mistakenly paid $250,000 to the wrong vendor, and they just social engineered him, and he fell for it. Of course, most times they use the mid management or analysts as scapegoats. But the honest truth is that your top leadership are, I think, they are mostly. So we have to target them for retraining, specific training for top leadership, or else most of your top leadership are not too as savvy as you would think, really. Simulated attacks. So we're also thinking about making sure we have continuous phishing campaign within your environment and keep reinforcing it within your organization all the time also. 18, I think this should be the final one around the controls, application software security. Every one of us, we use application all the time. Your WhatsApp, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Pinterest, everything you use the application. So it's important to understand what are the security in the design, the software development, the actual testing, and are we constantly checking for vulnerabilities for those applications? Very important because think for a second, outside of the other products procured by Facebook, for example, Facebook is strictly an application, right? It's an application we all use all over the world, right? So think about that for a second. If that application is compromised, then the business is compromised. As simple as that. So it's a very significant thing out there in general.